And welcome back, everyone, to Corsace Closed 2023 Semis Week. Day 3 here, I guess. We had some Friday matches bringing us our 2 winners semifinals back to back. We have just seen Emrek take out Kriller in what kind of looks like dominant fashion on paper, but was really a closer match than it looks. And next up, we have reigning tournament legend Malachevsky, who's been winning everything he looks at over the past couple of years, in the second semifinal, taking on Tsuwagi from Hong Kong, who is just coming off of a very, very lengthy, very difficult match in the 3-digit World Cup Grand Finals. So interested to see how that long warm-up treats him going into a match on a very, very difficult pool here in Corsace, against the best tournament player in the world right now. I am still T1G. He is still Chillier Pair. Chillier, you're a tournament player yourself, coming off of a nearly 3-hour-long Grand Finals plus bracket reset. How excited would you be to go straight into another match right after?
You know, I think it depends on the type of player that you are. These being 2 brand new tournament players. No, I'm just kidding. We've got Tsuwagi, who is definitely played of his fair share of tournaments by now. Unfortunately, Hong Kong not taking the win in 3-digit World Cup immediately before this might have something to do with Tsuwagi's performance. But again, I don't know the type of person that Tsuwagi is. Some players thrive on the thought of, potentially losing a match and going into the next one and being able to try and take the win. And some players, might be a little bit discouraged by that. And I think, for Tsuwagi right now, going up against someone like Malachevsky, this is an uphill battle to start off with. So I think all things considered, that warm-up is going to be absolutely crucial in a match like this, especially with a skill cap-based pool where some of these maps are so extremely difficult across, the top end of things. I also think Tsuwagi is playing at a much more comfortable time than people think he is. Tsuwagi being in the UK, not in Hong Kong, definitely helps him out with the current timing of this match, so he's definitely going to be a lot more in tune with when this is being placed. Of course, you've got Malachevsky on the other side. He is just terrifying to even be in a lobby with at this point. I don't care who you are. I don't care how great of a tournament player you are. Malachevsky is terrifying to be in a lobby with, because you can take the best tournament players in the world and stick them all in a lobby together, and Malachevsky will still stick out like a sore thumb because he FCs everything without fail half of the time. You'll hop into a match and Malachevsky will either miss everything and still set 700-800k, or he'll FC everything. So for Tsuwagi right now, you've got that mix of this pressure and this kind of like motivation cycle here right now, which is gonna be a tough thing to push through on a semifinals pool. But I don't doubt that he's got at least a few tricks up his sleeve to get some points on the board here.
My one concern, well, I have many concerns, because anybody playing Malachevsky, it's always going to be a tough one. But my one concern maybe for Tsuwagi is that Malachevsky has gotten a lot better at the things that Tsuwagi is not very good at. And he was already good at the things that Tsuwagi is good at in the first place, right? Malachevsky has improved a lot in terms of speed and stamina and finger control, things like that, which are not Tsuwagi's specialty. And the skill sets that Tsuwagi is good at, the things like alt and tech and aim, Malachevsky's got all of those in spades as well. You look at the stats, and they do kind of tell an accurate story of these 2 players. Those speed and stamina stats for Tsuwagi, just unfortunately not something he's ever specialized in. I think we probably have to see him forced into double banning speed, where you might see another DT2 Nomad 5 ban, and Malachevsky can just kind of ban out whatever he wants. He gets the luxury here of being just the player who has fewer forced bans, things that he can't leave, maps that you just can't leave up or you instantly lose. There really aren't any of those for Malachevsky in this matchup. So regardless of how warmed up Tsuwagi might be, how prepared he might be or not, he's coming into this at a disadvantage, not only from a skill perspective, but also from a pick and ban perspective. So curious to see what the bans end up actually being, but I do suspect it's DT2 Nomad 5 from Tsuwagi, and then Malachevsky can just ban whatever he wants. I mean, he just bans like Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1 or something, just get it out of the way, or like even a Nomad 3 or something, just because oh, I don't feel like having to play that map and even thinking about him maybe FCing it and beating me on it.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, this is the type of like pick and ban phase right now where it's, you know, what do I look for first here if I am honestly either one of these players. Malachevsky, I think going into this based on if you know you've been paying attention to Tsuwagi's performances lately, generally I think most players would be like, all right, let me ban the tech maps, let me ban stuff like Wayoderi and stuff like that in this pool. But, you know, given who Malachevsky is, that doesn't really tend to be the case given his own personal skill sets. I think that's something that he would potentially look for to pick. But, you know, if Malachevsky is comfortable with enough of this pool, he might just opt to ban a map like that just because it's, you know, something that Tsuwagi could potentially pick. And, you know, if you're as good as Malachevsky, you just ban out two of the maps that your opponent is potentially good at. He's going to go for the hidden one ban, so the hidden awkward aim. And honestly, I can understand that just because of the RNG factor of, you know, those extremely difficult linear patterns that you talked about in the previous match that we went over, and then some of the spikes in that. Tsuwagi's going to go for the no mod 5. He is just not touching burst speed against Malachevsky. And there's another gimmick ban.
What do we say, man? No mod 5 DT2. That's like the easiest ban prediction for so many people. It's just like they don't want to have to play speed. No mod 6, Malachevsky saying, all right, we're gonna not deal with that today, just on the off chance. I mean, you look at the stats, Tsuwagi pretty solid in the reading department. So Malachevsky saying, I don't want to have to handle that. And back-to-back matches here are gonna start off with DT1. Emrek first picking DT1 against Kriller, and now Tsuwagi first picking DT1 against Malachevsky. I suppose when you're very warmed up and you've been playing for 3-4 hours already today, 270 BPM AR 10.5 is not going to feel quite so crazy as it otherwise might have. And I guess if there's any weakness, or I shouldn't say, I guess if there's anything that I haven't seen Malachevsky demonstrate a ridiculous level of skill in, it might be high ARDT. Like, it's certainly not what you associate with him when you think of his name. It's not the first thing that comes to mind. So Tsuwagi saying, we're gonna pick the just plain straightforward DT1, and we're gonna see how it goes, because he's really got nothing to lose here. You know, this is just kind of playing for pride in the case of most players, because you're not going into a match against Malachevsky expecting to win, sorry to say, for 99% of people in the game. So come in and, you know, just pick some maps that you think you might have a chance at, and if you lose them, so be it, and if you win them, awesome.
Well, we'll see how it goes with the DT1 here. He's already got a bit of an accuracy lead over Malachevsky at the beginning, but we saw something similar earlier with Kriller versus Emrek, where Kriller had an accuracy lead at the beginning as well. Unfortunately, the high AR was what got to him, and we'll see what happens as we get into the rest of this pick, whether or not the high AR gets to either of these players. They both look fairly comfortable as Tsuwagi finds a miss at the beginning of this DT1, and this is something that concerned me, and I didn't want to say anything because it's a different pool and it's a whole different tournament, but in 3-digit World Cup, Tsuwagi hasn't really been feeling the DT speed lately, at least from what I've seen in those matches for Hong Kong. There really was struggling through a lot of that, and MCY4 ended up having to kind of go in on things. So it was definitely interesting to see the DT1 come out first for Tsuwagi, but Malachevsky's clearly struggling on his own here as well. 96% accuracy, really just kind of doing the bare minimum to get through this with the combo right now, but it's making the difference.
I will note that Tsuwagi was in for DT1. It was played in both sets of that grand final in 3WC. He played it both times. He got 739k once and 660k the other time. So I think he is at a point where he is at least moderately comfortable with these DT1s. And he's showing it here as he holds while Malachevsky finds the break. It's 140k though. Is there enough time and combo even if he FCs the rest? That's a very hard maybe.
It's doable. Tsuwagi definitely has the combo right now, and the accuracy is close enough that it doesn't make a single bit of difference what happens in terms of 100s right now, but Tsuwagi's got to be able to maintain this combo. It's good to know that he was performing a little bit better in DT1 today. Definitely gives me confidence that he's going to have the consistency to carry this out into the finish, and this would be a great first point to get on the board for Tsuwagi.
This is going to come down to the absolute last second here. Look at that score, though. It's 50K still for Malachevsky. I think he managed to hang on long enough, but this is going to be really tight right into the ending. That score gap is coming down to the last pattern, and it goes over. Oh my god, it wasn't enough. And Tsuwagi does it. He takes the first point, takes his first pick, and he takes the 1-0 lead. He hit the ending. There was so much score in that ending, dude. It was 40K in favor of Malachevsky, and then within like 100 combo, it went to Tsuwagi by 20,000 points.
Oh, so much
one miss a piece, dude. Wow.
What good scores across the board. Almost double 1,000 combo for these two players. And Malachevsky almost making it work on that accuracy on the ending. Actually, 97% pushed up at this side. But just not enough with that combo there. Tsuwagi with essentially what was a halfway miss into FCing the rest of the map, and he's going to be able to close out his opening pick. We saw this in the previous match. Like you mentioned, Emrek went in for that DT1 and started off, and we've got DT3 as well. We're getting a lot of repeat picks in this one, and Malachevsky is going to become our awkward aim player today, our alternating aim control DT3 here. This map requires so much focus and control, and that's what Malachevsky's all about.
This is such a Malachevsky map, dude. I mean, what isn't, to be fair? But like the finger control, aim control hybrid of this pick just screams out Malachevsky's going to have a good run on this. So very excited to see how he can perform. Last time we saw Kriller take a break point on this from Emrek, though. So if Tsuwagi was watching that match, which he wasn't because he was in another match, but if you maybe looked at the MP, I don't know, he could take a little bit of hope from the fact that the lower seeded player was able to take a break point on this once already today.
Inspired.
But I do feel that Malachevsky is less likely to have any problems on this than maybe Emrek was, just based on his skill set. And there is the early break from Tsuwagi, while Malachevsky starts off on the right foot with 250 combo and the 6% accuracy lead. Oh dear.
Ooh, Malachevsky almost note-locked that pattern. You actually saw the slider he hit shake a little bit right there. He's actually almost note-locking on quite a few of these. He's just barely catching himself. And it's the style of this continuous alternating awkward aim in here really leaves you vulnerable to some of that. Unfortunately, Tsuwagi's the one to have the trouble with it. Man, here goes Malachevsky.
Oh my gosh. All right, he hits the entire first aim control pattern there, and he's just going to keep going. Dude, I wonder what the best score is so far on this map this week, because this is looking like a good start already. Yeah.
Oh, no. I think it had to have been one of Kriller's or Emrek's from the match before. They had great scores, but I also haven't been very well versed in the rest of the scores on this map in particular.
I think this is already over. Like, I think Malachevsky could just set his pen down and walk away and he would win. But that wouldn't be good enough because he needs to try to FC this. And
oh my God, he hits the linear.
There is no try. There is do and not do. And, well, Malachevsky is just doing it. This is not normal. Is he gonna FC this,
PC endgame?
Is he gonna FC this, bro? I mean, I know I said this was a Malachevsky map, but come on, I didn't mean this was an FC map. And you know, I guess I should have meant that because there it is, the full combo DT3 dropped in by Malachevsky. This man is activated. He is ready to go. Drops the first pick by a last-second comeback from Tsuwagi, but then just casually FCs the DT3 with his own first pick to tie the match up.
Oh, Malachevsky, good player, but this is not normally. Please check him PC endgame. What a score. 1,000+ combo. Not quite perfect at the slider ends there, but still more than enough. And that's the DT pick straight up. All right, we're just seeing every repeat pick right now. Jeez, it's the No Mod 1 coming out from Tsuwagi as well. Big favorites on the mechanics.
To be fair, this pool just isn't very big. Once you take the 4 bans into account, there's only one extra map if a match goes to tiebreaker. So I think it's not surprising to see a bunch of the same stuff repeatedly. But yeah, early on already getting 3 maps in a row that we saw last match, excuse me. Well, Tsuwagi's good at aim, but Malachevsky's also really good at aim.
Yeah, Malachevsky's like really, really good at aim.
Which is crazy because his like cursor looks so scary a lot of the time, but his aim just holds on no matter what.
Is that just like, I mean nothing bad by this, but is that like a Polish player thing? Like, does anyone else remember like old Wolf in tournaments and how shaky his cursor was? Like, I say this as respectfully as possible, but like every awesome Polish player has always had the shakiest cursor ever.
Rafis?
Like all the
Rafis?
best. Because Rafis is shaky at times, not in tournaments though.
Yeah, I would say his isn't that bad, but yeah,
I'm just
I don't
thinking
know.
Wolf. I'm just thinking Wolf. I don't know.
No,
I generalize off of Wolf now. That's my my standard.
the one true Polish player, what
The
Wolf
one,
is
the one and
emblem
only. My hero.
Polish supremacy in Osu.
My
All
hero.
right. So this is a very difficult no mod one. It's 8.2 stars or whatever. It's got giant aim. It has a fair amount of bursts and streams. It's nearly 4 minutes long. We saw 2 misses from both Kriller and Emrek previously, so these guys have some high standards set for them coming into this match. But both make it through into the first Ki, holding on to FCs. The accuracy exactly even, and the score reflecting it.
Interesting start. Both players sitting a little bit lower on the accuracy here, but I think we were kind of spoiled in the last match with Kriller and Emrek both holding 99 plus for like the entire map going through here. Both players still looking good through this introductory jump section here. These square shifts into these wide angles really quite difficult, and neither player messing up any of it.
Yeah, they're both looking very comfortable with this map. I think this map starting is probably buffed a bit by the streams because this isn't as aim requiring as you would maybe expect of an 8-star aim map. Not to say it doesn't require really good aim, but it is helped out by the fact that you have a bunch of streams at 224 BPM. But these guys handling it like it's just the easiest thing in the world. It's just a casual Sunday stroll in the park, I guess, to play 8-star no mod ones these days. Sooner or later somebody has to break, because otherwise this is going to get really scary going into the second half of the map without a single miss yet.
I'm already terrified. It's halfway through, and we're holding a double FC. It's actually a couple slider ends dropped for Malachevsky.
Yeah, the lead actually in favor of Tsuwagi by that tiny margin thanks to the combo difference, even though they're both FCing. I guess, by the strictest definition, you would say Malachevsky isn't FCing, but I hate that argument. And into the next guy we go. Still not a single break, and we're at 1100 combo. This is getting kind of terrifying, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, it's going to come down to the ending jump section here. Are we going to see a 1 miss from either of these two players? We know how variable these no mod 1s can be into the big jump sections here when you start to get a little bit nervous. Can both of these players hold? This is it. This is it.
Oh my god. Big jumps, and they have the aim to match it. Nobody breaking. It's a miss on the bottom left corner from Malachevsky, and Tsuwagi in the lead, and that's probably enough to win it for him unless he breaks instantly. That should do it. Because there's a little bit of free combo here. There is one more difficult section before the last Ki here in these big back and forths, but if Tsuwagi hits this, he's home free, and of course he does. Yeah, that's going to be a second point on the board. Tsuwagi saying, I'm picking raw mechanics against Malachevsky, and I'm going to win on this big aim. I'm going to win DT1 on aim. I'm going to win Nomad 1 on aim. Damn your predictions. Damn your expectations. I'm taking a 2-1 lead against the best tournament player in the world, because who cares if people say he's the best tournament player in the world? It's all about what happens in the match.
And he's going to bring it in with a good act, too. Look at this 99.44% accuracy here. He does find the miss. Just a little bit of an under aim on the bottom right.
Bro!
Wow.
No, that is so sad.
Tragic
That is
FC
so
miss.
sad.
Tragic.
That should have been an FC, man. Either way, though, 1 miss at the very ending, and Tsuwagi wins his first 2 picks against Malachevsky. He goes aim into aim, and he wins them both. Who would have thought?
Well, both good scores. Tsuwagi looked really good on that DT1. He looks really good on the Nomad one.
The only Hard Rock one next. Hard Rock one next.
Yeah, right. He's just got to keep going for it. He's just got to get into this. Tsuwagi himself actually saying that he only expected to get 2 points in this match. Well, lucky for you, my friend, it is only 3 picks in, and you already have met your goal. Time to go above and beyond, and it's the Nomad 2 time, actually. Malachevsky is going to keep Tsuwagi in raw mechanics territory for 1 more pick, and that might be good for him.
Well, we talked about Tsuwagi not being as strong on the tapping mechanics as he is on the aim mechanics. This is an aim Nomad 2 in the sense that I don't know what the mapper was on when they mapped these flow patterns, but I want some because that's got to be the good stuff. This is like the most bizarre, peculiar flow aim that you've seen since you saw the 3WC Grand Finals Nomad 2.
I do not see. I close my eyes.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, Tsuwagi can play Nomad 2s. He can't play, like, DT2s, Nomad 5s, but he can play Nomad 2s. We've seen Hong Kong do well in international tournaments on Nomad 2 picks against, on paper, stronger teams. So, very interested to see what happens with this Nomad 2 here. Imagine Tsuwagi gets a break point right now. Just imagine.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to see. We've got a lot of these high-velocity spacing patterns on this map here. These streams are quite unforgiving. And he's going to be the first one to drop 100 at the beginning of this map here. Malachevsky's going to trade a few out as we now start to get into the actual part of this map right now. Very tech-styled Nomad 2.
This intro is just a tech map. It's the strangest thing. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't pay attention to the behind-the-scenes cooling stuff. I'm wondering if this was, like, the intent. They wanted, like, a tech Nomad 2. I'm not really sure. It's certainly what we ended up with.
Ballistically difficult cut streams in here. Yep. Wow, these two players are just going. Oh, they're
goodbye. Yeah, if you miss aim, that's what happens on Nomad 2 in general, right? If you miss aim or miss tap, you're just going to miss like 10 times in a row. It's just what happens, and there go both of them. And that is a 70k lead for Malachevsky halfway through.
Those cut streams are just absolutely out of this world. The fact that Malachevsky and Tsuwagi, even with the breaks, hit as much of that as they did speaks volumes about their skill as players in here. And we're going to get into the second half of the map now with Malachevsky on not a super comfortable lead, but definitely one that is quite enough for a Nomad 2 that is kind of based around chain misses. It really was just Tsuwagi finding about double the miscount of Malachevsky in that section, but anything can happen at this ending here. One slip up from either of these players, and this could just be completely gone. Both players hitting the beginning section here. Malachevsky with 99, and he does drop it. Both players find the chain miss, and I think that's just going to help Malachevsky out.
I think that more likely than not just won him the pick. Just the fact that Tsuwagi broke, it didn't really matter what he did at that point, because now it's about a 60,000, 70,000 point lead coming into the slightly slower part of the map here as we approach the ending. This is just tech now. It's just slider mapping. So the note density not going to be high enough for any sort of comeback, I don't think. And just the ending to come. It's going to end up being a little closer than maybe expected the way it started. But Malachevsky will hold on. And it'll be tied up to a piece. That was reasonably close, though. I mean, 45k. Not a super one-sided affair by any means.
Both players doing well. They did well. I like that. They both have higher miscount than their 100 count, and by absolutely zero stretch is that surprising at all with the style of map that they just played. That is chain miss central right there. But we're going to go into Tsuwagi's third pick. He's going to go for the hidden 2.
Wait, so he's going DT1, Nomad 1, hidden 2.
I like this. I like this pick from Tsuwagi. He's gonna shake things up on the third pick. He's like, you know what? I don't want to get complacent on the aim. Because think about it. If he wins both of those aim picks, he's probably feeling confident on the Hard Rock one. And if he's able to maybe slip in a couple more picks here, he could save that Hard Rock one for later, maybe when he needs it more. Neither player has let up a single break point yet, and I don't think Tsuwagi wants to start now. And a very proficient reading player does give him a decent shot at being able to win this pick against Malachevsky. Malachevsky is fairly well versed in this skill set as well. I think both of these players both going to be comfortable on this map to some extent, but quite easy to, again, chain miss some of the sections here just with the note density.
Yeah, we saw that happen quite frequently before, so we'll see if these guys maybe have the reading all set. They're starting off with better accuracy than either player did in the previous match. I'll note both guys at 99.5 here in the first couple hundred combo, but there come the misses. And it's a reset, though. So it's not going to really have any effect, but it does drop the act down by 2 full percent for Tsuwagi. I'll give Malachevsky a little early lead. This feels like a scary pick if you're Tsuwagi against this opponent, but you discussed holding on to the Hard Rock one for later, so we'll have to see how this one plays out and if that other map ends up getting chosen. And now combo lead Tsuwagi heading into this Ki as Malachevsky finds a break, but Tsuwagi right after does not take advantage of that combo lead.
Yeah, it wasn't quite enough that we needed it to be a little bit more, especially with that accuracy lead. Accuracy doesn't mean a whole lot in Score V2 unless you start to get to these bigger gaps here. And by bigger gaps, I definitely mean this over 2% gap now between these two players here. That is more than enough to hold this in Malachevsky's favor, especially with him matching the combo from Tsuwagi most of the time here. So Tsuwagi needs to see a big break from Malachevsky, somewhere potentially around 300 or 400 combo into this map right now. And there it is. That's what he needs.
Yeah. Say exactly that. That was the opportunity that Tsuwagi needed to see come knocking, and there's another miss from Malachevsky, and now it's a 400 combo advantage for Tsuwagi, and that score lead is going to go over here in just a second.
As
long as he can hold through this pattern, he can't.
Neither player does, though. Neither player does. He's brought it down quite a bit. It's less than 10,000 score between the two of them.
Yeah, this is really even, and Tsuwagi hits that buzz slider pattern while Malachevsky breaks on it. Malachevsky hanging on by the skin of his teeth thanks to his accuracy advantage, but it's a combo lead for Tsuwagi, and he finally is going to take the score lead as well. Into the last third of the map we go. Oh, that's a big chain miss from Malachevsky. That's helping Tsuwagi out even more, and all of a sudden the lead is 30k, just like that.
As the AC went over too. Now Malachevsky now behind by 0.2%. He let that 2% AC lead go within the past half of the map here. And Tsuwagi poised to take his pick here. We've got a quarter of the map left to go. Anything can technically happen right now. It's only 30,000 score in favor of Tsuwagi, but with Malachevsky chain missing, it's looking more and more unlikely that he takes this.
Yeah, this just feels like such a chain mismap. There is the break from Tsuwagi, but with no combo on the Malachevsky side, it really doesn't make a big difference. But if you miss these patterns, like, you don't just miss one node in these patterns, you are liable to miss the entire thing. And unfortunately for Malachevsky, kind of suffered from that fate, but he does hit a whole bunch of the ending. Finally breaks, just in case you thought that might get interesting there in the last seconds. It won't. And Tsuwagi's going to take another pick. That's going to be 5 straight points without a break point. And this one was closely fought most of the way through, but those chain misses from Malachevsky in the back third really handed it on over to Tsuwagi's side, and he takes the 3-2 lead. He's still keeping his nose out in front. Malachevsky really unable to gain any sort of foothold on any of these Tsuwagi picks, and he's kind of playing from behind this whole match.
Very close map. We saw this in the previous match as well between Emrek and Kriller. Only a 40,000 score difference between the two of them, and even less in this match between Tsuwagi and Malachevsky. So the reading players in this tournament all very well versed in whatever they need to be here going into it. But now we're going to really get into Malachevsky territory. It is Hard Rock 3-time. It is Tech Hard Rock. This is quite literally Malachevsky's zone. I don't actually know if any tournament player right now could take Malachevsky down in this skill set, at least that comes to mind immediately. No, I genuinely, I don't know. Fiery Rage is like,
yeah, I don't know.
I can't tell who's the best Hard Rock Tech player besides Malachevsky right now. Badu?
I would say Forum, but...
Oh, you right? Worst HR player? My goats. So
Malachevsky going back-to-back the Nomad 2 and then into the Tech Stream pick. So it's basically just back-to-back Tech Stream maps because that Nomad 2, as we discussed while it was going on, is kind of techie, and this is obviously intentionally techie. So staying within a somewhat similar skill set here. A lot of flow aim. And, well... honestly, the Nomad 2 was pretty close, so I would expect this to be relatively close as well, as long as Tsuwagi can find some comfort level, but not looking so great early on as he is down at 90% accuracy for much of this intro.
Now Tsuwagi representing the common top tournament player who struggles with this pick here, and Malachevsky dropping combo along with Tsuwagi, unfortunately. But that 97% accuracy, it is simply not normal. Like, Tsuwagi is what most top tournament players who are really good at Hard Rock would do right now. And Malachevsky's accuracy is on another planet. Unfortunately, his combo is not, and it's actually holding him back a bit.
Oh, I just thought, who's really good at Hard Rock Tech is Michny.
Oh, real.
Michny's really freaking good at Hard Rock Tech. Anyway, sorry, it just came to me during the match here.
It's good. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly though, both these players are acquitting themselves pretty well here in this first third to half of this map, building up some serious combo on both sides. 424 combo, 375 combo. Like you were talking about, though, that accuracy difference really helping out Malachevsky quite a bit. Almost over 4%. Let's leave it at that. Over 4% ACK lead. When the score gap is only 60k, the ACK will play at least a little role in that. Maybe not a lot, but a little.
This ACK is demonic from Malachevsky as we get into the next key. I hear both players hitting that wiggle, and here we go into the sliders. This is where the accuracy is going to start to take a really big toll.
Unless you're Malachevsky and you hit all the slider heads and time the slider heads properly.
Oh my god,
he's still at 97.
actually doing it.
He's actually hacking this whole section, dude.
He hasn't even lost.
Okay, there's a 50. It's a slider break for both players. That was nuts.
Is he gonna lose less than a percent ACK in this section? Are you kidding me?
I think he lost like 0.2% accuracy in that entire section.
Why?
That was
How?
pretty wild.
Tsuwagi did pretty well to maintain as well, still sitting at 94.
Yeah, I mean, the gap really didn't change by all that much. It's 75,000, 80,000 points, but I mean, coming into it, it was near that anyway. So Malachevsky doing well, but Tsuwagi acquitting himself well also. Just don't know if there's going to be an opening in this one for Tsuwagi to try to make any sort of comeback. It would require Malachevsky breaking like now and Tsuwagi FCing the rest of the map. And much as I'd like to see it happen, I don't think it's super likely at this point. Malachevsky is looking too comfortable.
Both of these players are tearing this pickup right now into these extremely difficult back and forth patterns. Oh my god. Both players.
Wait.
Oh, the trade. Wow.
There was like that quarter of a second where Tsuwagi had held and Malachevsky broke, but unfortunately it didn't last any longer than that.
He's actually going to put up 400,000 plus score on this pick, and Malachevsky poised to take another one of his picks to even this out 3-3.
Also, 97.5 ACK.
Yeah,
which
wow.
On this is absolutely demonic.
This is one of the hardest maps in the pool.
Yeah, this is so difficult. Does drop some hundreds at the end there, but he's still going to keep the accuracy pretty solid. Okay, he SS'd the entire ending to get back over 97.5. Sure, man. Sure. He actually just SS'd the last 100 combo to get back over 97.5 ACK. That's not right. 2 misses against 11. What the hell? Malachevsky, that is such a sick score.
Oh my gosh, it's over 100,000 score on pretty much accuracy alone. The combo difference negligible between these two players. I mean, if you put these two players on exactly the same accuracy with that combo difference, this probably would have been 15,000 score difference, and it is over 100,000. Malachevsky essentially cutting Tsuwagi's 100 count in less than half with the 750s to only 1, not even taking the miscount into account. That is just... that is purely comfortable, how comfortable he is. We talked about how much Hard Rock 3 fits his skill set, and he pulled through for us. There's no mod 3 from Tsuwagi, so he's going to go for quite a similar skill set, but he's going to remove the Hard Rock.
Yeah, we go back to seeing... This is now 6 out of 7 maps between the same in our earlier match in this one. No mod 3, there's some flow and some snap aim and, control aim going on to watch for here. We saw a very good performance from Emrek that was unfortunately stifled by a little note lock miss. We'll see if either of these players can reach those dizzying heights. Both these guys really, really good at alt maps. This is another one, much like most of the maps in this pool so far, honestly. It's another one that I expect to be pretty closely contested. These guys are both really solid in this skill set, and they're both playing very well today. So excited for this one for sure.
I expect some big things out of this pick. Tsuwagi and Malachevsky looked relatively close in terms of combo on that Hard Rock 3, and it clearly means that Tsuwagi is comfortable with alternating picks in here, but he's got to hope that Malachevsky finds some similar breaks to the ones that he found on Hard Rock 3 while pulling the combo through. Of course, Tsuwagi did find that early break. We did see that from Griller in the previous match as well, just missing right at the beginning and holding comfortably through the Ki, but he under-aims the entire first space burst, and that's going to give Malachevsky a huge gap at the beginning.
Yeah, we saw Griller break on that pattern earlier as well. It's very easy to slightly misaim that space pattern. And, you know, Malachevsky, obviously we talk about him as good at everything, but he is like, I don't know, top 5 alt players nowadays behind, you know, up there with the likes of guys like Badu who are just never going to miss and always going to put up insane scores on these maps. So, kind of proving that to us here so far in this one. 99.76, that's what, 1 or 200 so far, and the FC still intact. Tsuwagi's got his work cut out for him. He wants to try to make a comeback in this one. Already down by over 100,000 points with only one real miss. The other was so early on. Needs to be a break from Malachevsky here before we get into the next Ki, and needs to be Tsuwagi holding the rest of the way through if he wants to try and bring this one back. And so far, that's not looking all that likely because Malachevsky just looks super comfortable holding the FC without any difficulty.
The accuracy holding true as well. Again, just these, it looks so shaky and his cursor looks so uncertain, but he'll hit the mark every single time without fail. Tsuwagi's going to find one more combo break there, and that is essentially just going to do it. Even now, if Malachevsky were to break, the score gap is simply too large on this pick. It is now 600,000 and 340,000. Even if Tsuwagi only missed once halfway, this is already insurmountable. It's just a matter of whether or not Malachevsky is able to finish it out, but everybody watching, this is going to be the first break point of the match. Unfortunately for Tsuwagi, it's going to come on his side.
Yeah, and it's at a scary point in the match now as well. It's going to be a break point to give Malachevsky a 4-3 lead. And he's, you know, if he wins his own pick after that, he'd be at a match point scenario. So, tough spot to be in now if you're Tsuwagi dropping this pick. This was always, I think, going to be a risky option just because of how good Malachevsky is at this skill set. Obviously, Tsuwagi no slouch either, but I would not want to bet on anyone against Malachevsky except maybe Badu on this type map. He type 3 misses the ending. He missed. It's again. We're just seeing troll FCs in this match, I guess. The Tsuwagi breaking right at the end of Nomad 1, and now you get Malachevsky breaking right at the end of Nomad 3. But obviously, job done by that point, and then some. It's a 500k win and 4-3 lead. Our first break point of the match comes on the Nomad 3 7th map of this affair. And now Malachevsky pick to try to go at match points.
Well, not the best scenario for Tsuwagi right now by any stretch of the imagination. It's one pick for Malachevsky to force the tiebreaker already, and Tsuwagi needing to win a break point and his own pick in order to get back into things now. It's a dangerous spot, but it's definitely not insurmountable. Malachevsky has been playing well in this match, but so has Tsuwagi. We've got some crazy scores being put out on Malachevsky's side, and Tsuwagi is going to have to start to match up to this, and I think we might have to see that Hard Rock 1 or really any mechanics left in the pool from Tsuwagi if he wants to have a foothold on this match. He had a barely win on Hidden 2. It's going to be the Hard Rock 1 pick from Malachevsky. I'm not super surprised by this.
I forgot that the Hard Rock 1, I forgot this Hard Rock 1 is actually light tech. It's not a standard aim Hard Rock 1. I kind of overlooked that when thinking about Tsuwagi picks. So this does make a lot of sense for Malachevsky.
Yeah, Tsuwagi needs to find mechanics in the remainder of this match in order to really get another point on the board. He has very clearly had a sizable advantage on mechanics over Malachevsky so far. Unfortunately, on most of everything else, Malachevsky has just looked far too comfortable in order for Tsuwagi to compete. And in a pool that's this small, unfortunately, you run out of those mechanics picks rather quickly, especially with that Nomad 5 and DT2 ban. So Malachevsky potentially closing a lot of the gaps in this match on his bans alone here. See what happens on the Hard Rock 1. Tsuwagi, while maybe not the player we would think of to beat Malachevsky on a light tech Hard Rock 1 in the first place, did look fairly confident on that Hard Rock 3 compared to Malachevsky, so he could make something work here.
Yeah, this is definitely not like an auto loss for Tsuwagi by any means, so he does find the first break in that intro. That being said, Malachevsky has looked historically really good at Hard Rock Tech. We talked a lot about that on the last tech pick, but he suffers an early break as well, so this is going to stay pretty close here in this intro, and this is not a long map. This is what, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds? And it's advantage Tsuwagi through this intro. The accuracy still holding to Malachevsky's side, but the combo in favor of Tsuwagi. Chillier. This is winnable, right? Tsuwagi can take this.
Oh, he needs Malachevsky to find a break, though. This accuracy gap is just so big, and there goes the slider break.
Well, yeah, he had to hold. That was always going to be the case. Just had to hold.
It's still doable. If Malachevsky breaks right before... he almost missed that slide.
It's 50k and it's 400 combo. I mean, it just needs to be Malachevsky breaking a couple times in the back half, and Tsuwagi needs to hold the entire way through, which seems to be a tough ask, to be honest. Technically Abdul, but this is definitely in favor of Malachevsky at this point as the lead stretches out to about 100,000 points now heading into the back third of the pick. And Malachevsky looks like he's really gotten into his comfort zone now. He's holding, and he's bringing his attack up, he's keeping his combo up, and he is just in his playground on this map.
There it is, the break from Tsuwagi, and I think that's going to do it. Even if Malachevsky misses that space stream there, he has created that 200,000 score gap, and he's going to maintain it with the accuracy all on its own into the ending, and that's going to be match point forced for Malachevsky on his own pick. Tsuwagi now needing to win the 2 remaining picks in this match to force tiebreaker.
And that is a scary spot to be in if you're Tsuwagi, now that you've dropped a break point and really have not ever made inroads toward getting a break point of your own. I think, no matter what happens, getting the 3 points on the board for Tsuwagi is a good result. But yeah, now in a spot of bother here, as they say, because it's a 1 miss, I think maybe 1 miss, 1 slider break from Malachevsky, and he has really gotten into his groove. 3 points in a row from... being down 3-2 on going into his own pick a few minutes ago, up to 5-3 now, and maybe the effects of the fatigue of a long tournament day now going on probably hour 4 of matches for Tsuwagi might be playing a little bit of a role here. Those effects of the fatigue being felt a bit. But it's gonna be Hard Rock 2. We're gonna go precision. People have talked about how that is kind of, maybe not always Malachevsky's best, but man, his stats certainly make it look like something he's really good at.
Oh, it certainly does. And, going into the Hard Rock 2 for Tsuwagi right now, it really is just, I think, what we talked about earlier. It's him trying to find any semblance of mechanics in this pool remaining, because he knows exactly, where his advantages over Malachevsky are. Unfortunately, going into the Hard Rock pool intentionally against Malachevsky is not always the best option, especially when you find misaims right from the start of the map. And if you catch Malachevsky on a good day, that 1 miss from Tsuwagi could actually lose the map if you get Malachevsky when he's playing extremely well. But we're not going to count him out yet. He needs this pick in order to force it to go to Malachevsky's next one, but based on the accuracy and the miscount at the beginning, he's got an uphill battle to fight right now.
Yeah, it's Malachevsky's accuracy?
100%.
Yeah. Well, not anymore, but it was.
I lied. I lied to you. I lied to you all. I'm sorry.
You told the truth at that exact moment in time. Not interested in a metaphysics lecture, though.
Time is but a construct. Please regale me.
It's the break from Malachevsky.
Ooh.
That was, I think, a slider break, and that opens the door up for Tsuwagi, who will take the lead back over thanks to this big combo advantage. Does hit some hundreds, but he keeps the combo alive, and that's what's going to matter. This is, again, like, it's an aim control small circle map, and
Malachevsky misses again.
Whoa, Malachevsky, brother, what are you doing? There is the break from Tsuwagi, but that really doesn't hurt him all that much since Malachevsky's having so much trouble holding combo. Oh, boy.
Both players not having a good time.
I feel like this map is so much harder than it looks, because, like, you look at this and it's just like, oh, it's some aim and some triples and bursts, like, whatever, but it's also CS 7.2, so, you know, very, very challenging to properly place your cursor quite so precisely. But
this is
Tsuwagi
getting bad.
Falling apart. Tsuwagi is falling apart, and this is comebackable now for Malachevsky in this last quarter.
Ooh, Malachevsky had a rough middle section, but not quite as rough as Tsuwagi. Uh-oh. It's going to go over.
Oh, no.
Malachevsky missed.
Oh, he missed. He broke. Malachevsky broke.
This is doable.
It's dead even. It's literally 9K.
Tsuwagi needs to hold this combo here.
He has the combo advantage with the accuracy lead for Malachevsky. Any one miss or even some more 100s and 50s from Tsuwagi could be enough to drop it. Malachevsky's holding his axe so well into this ending.
Oh my God,
spinner!
Oh my God, spinner.
Spin to win! Spin to win! It's Malachevsky, and he spins, and he wins by 3,000 points.
Oh my God.
That ending was just enough for Malachevsky to steal the point away and close out the match 6-3. Tsuwagi's heart was just shattered into a million little tiny pieces by the way that one ended.
Dude, my heart was just shattered into a million pieces. That was so sad. Are you kidding me? It was the act. I'm telling you, it is the theme of this match. It is Malachevsky just being the champion of accuracy on these sliders and being able to follow these patterns, and it does make the difference. For those of you that say combo game, it does matter, but when something like that happens, it is just insurmountable. You let that 2% accuracy lead go, and if you maintain the same combo as the other player, it's just all but lost at that point, and it ends in a 6-3 win for Malachevsky and what could have potentially been tiebreaker for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give shout-outs to Tsuwagi. Won his first 3 points, his first 3 picks in a row against a player that I feel almost nobody gave him any chance against. It really was the situation where it always felt like this was going to be favored to Malachevsky, but Tsuwagi made this a battle and really made Malachevsky work for it. You know, finally taking that break point on the Nomad 3 when Tsuwagi had kind of run out of picks just a little bit. And that was all it really took, you know? And so, well done to Tsuwagi for getting the 3 points, but Malachevsky, inexorable as always, takes the victory. He was onward to the winners final, and that's going to be the matchup that everybody had hoped for, right? From the very minute we saw the sign-up list for this tournament, from the very minute we saw the qualifier results, it's Malachevsky versus MREC winners final next week is set now. That is going to be so hype. Tsuwagi drops down to loser's bracket, but he's not done yet by any means. If he keeps up this level of play, he's going to be an exciting player to watch out for in that bottom half. So we will see what happens for both of them next week. Well done in this one, though, to Malachevsky, the victor here in our second semifinal, 6-3.
And with that, we are done with this match. We're not done for the weekend, though. We've got one more for you coming up in just a few minutes. It's going to be White Cat versus Henry. It's going to start in just about 10 minutes from now. We're going to take a quick short break in between these two matches. Again, congratulations to Malachevsky. Best of luck to Tsuwagi. Take care of everything you need to take care of. Be back here. We'll be here in 10 minutes. White Cat versus Henry again. Do not want to miss it. Thank you all for watching this match. We will see you then.